Hi guys, and welcome to Katie's Insight, where I give my insight on all kinds of things, including news, current events, politics, finance, and most importantly right now, stimulus. And y'all, I took like 3 days. I explained it in another video, but I think this one will go out first. Sometimes I'm not sure what order they'll go out in, but I just want to apologize that I was gone for a little bit. Guys, I keep trying to be consistent and give you guys daily content, but we had a huge ice storm in Oklahoma City and really just throughout the state of Oklahoma, and my power went out for a couple days, and then the power going out made health stuff act up, so my face is gonna look a little red and shiny. It's okay, I'm fine. There's nothing to worry about. It's just the stuff that goes on in this body, so I figure I might as well say it because y'all might call it out, and that is okay. Actually, I say that you guys are the nicest audience in the world. You guys rarely pick on me for what I look like, which I'm not used to on the internet, so loves to you. But I missed quite a bit, and I was like, well, at least there's not going to be a lot of stimulus news. And then here come Pelosi and Mnuchin, and oh my goodness, this situation is ridiculous and hilarious and enraging. Absolutely enraging. So before we begin, guys, I just want to remind you, we're still doing a $100 gift card giveaway. So if you want to be eligible, so simple, this is all you have to do. Like our video, subscribe, hit notifications, comment, share the content, boom. That's it, you're eligible, that's all you have to do. Make sure and do it for every video you see, because the more videos you do it, the more chances you have to be eligible. And new rule, the more comments you leave, the more chances you have to be eligible. So some people are leaving 10, 20, 30, 40 comments. Keep it up because it helps me grow the channel and you have more chances to win a $100 gift card. I announce winners every Monday, so make sure and watch all the videos from front to back on Mondays to see if you won. So yay! Good luck to everybody, and also add me on Facebook, Katie's Insight, like the page, join the group, Katie's Corner. Go in there, ask all the stimulus questions you want, or share info, because we love having different info from you guys, so we can all help each other. Okay, on with the show. Now, in the title of this video, guys, I am going to be talking about stimulus checks that you can get, so make sure and stay tuned for that. What I want to give you as well, a little bit of overview of where we're at in videos you're going to see today. Mnuchin and Pelosi are at war, and it is awesome to see because, as I've been saying for months, Pelosi keeps being caught in lie after lie after lie after lie. In fact, go check out the next video because I'm going to detail all of those lies, and it's so impressive. But then we had Mnuchin. So here's what happened. So we were supposed to do stimulus talks, right? Stimulus talks are going somewhere. Everything is great. And even Pelosi was like, we're so close. And I called this, guys. I said, you know what? I keep seeing Pelosi lying. And I think personally that she actually doesn't want any stimulus to pass. I think this is like the carrot stick and the donkey. And I think she doesn't want anything to happen. And she's just stringing everybody along. And I'm wondering if that's going to come out before the election. And sure enough, it is starting to come out. So yesterday, Pelosi, she wrote letters to Mnuchin, and it's so shady and shifty, y'all. Watch the videos because I'm going to go into details about what she did. And she wrote a really shady letter and did it in a very sneaky way. But our boy Mnuchin was on it, and he called her out. He called her out publicly. It's hilarious. So that's where we are right now. And as you guys know, we are just days away from the election. I think the election is Tuesday. Does it seem like Tuesday? No, it doesn't, but it is actually Tuesday. Now, something else that came out this week is basically Pelosi and Mnuchin, as many of you probably know who are watching. They both said first, Trump said, I don't think stimulus is going to happen until after the election. And Pelosi basically echoed the sentiment, but she blamed Trump. And now as the stock market is crashing and things are starting to fall, she's blaming Trump. And people are starting to get scared because now we don't know if and when we're getting stimulus. Now, I'll tell you, my constant thought has always been we will get stimulus. It's going to be a question of when and how stupid this whole thing is going to get. And what we've been seeing is we're seeing people being rightly called out as being liars. And I'm sorry, 9 times out of 10, it has to do with Pelosi. Y'all, that's why I ream on her more than anybody, because she just keeps getting caught lying. I'd rather have an evil Mitch McConnell that's honest-ish about being evil. Not that I want any evil, because she's exhausting. You never know what sneaky, manipulative stuff she is doing. And that's what's happening right now. So Trump had said, we don't think stimulus is going to happen, blames it on Pelosi, and Pelosi is blaming it on Trump. And this is all about, in my opinion, making Trump look bad before the election. Keep in mind, I don't take a side, as you guys know. I don't like any of these people, and I'm not, a lot of people think I'm pro-Trump. I'm not. I'm also not anti-Trump. I'm just telling you guys the perspective of somebody in the middle, a perspective you don't hear, but a large, growing perspective that is never allowed to be put out there about politics. And you have the left and other people, even people on the right who don't like Trump, who go, oh my God, how does he keep getting elected? Is everybody evil? Because a lot of people buy into these media narratives. And I'm here to tell you, as somebody in the middle, I keep saying I think Trump will win again for the same reason he won last time. Because people like me know how evil and corrupt all sides of the government are. So we look at Trump, he exaggerates to where he lies, loud mouth. He's not the greatest person. You know, I'm not trying to say that he is, but we look at that and we go, well, he's a wild card, and I guess we'll put our chances on him, then the crap we know doesn't work. And I feel like this is the perspective that's very much left out. But of course it's going to be, because the media has been making everything this chasm of more and more extremity on both sides, because in my opinion, it just seems like they're trying to manufacture a war that only a few people really want. And what does war do? War just creates devastation and chaos, but the top can control it and profit off of us. This is always what happens, and it ends up being devastation and horror. And I'm praying that doesn't happen. I gotta tell you, fingers crossed. I think like a lot of you, I'm kind of worried about what's gonna happen after this election. I've been saying this for a while and I hope I'm wrong, but we have both sides, both Biden and Trump, saying they aren't going to concede. And we have tensions mounting everywhere. You have a lot of the left, and when I say the left, I'm either talking about the crazy people at the top or the extremists. I'm not talking about you find people that might lean left or lean right, okay? So please understand that when I say left or right, most of you, I'm sure, if we sat down and just had a conversation, we'd probably be on the same page with a lot of things, right? So please understand that it's not a diss at you guys watching, because you guys aren't these crazy sociopaths at the top or these mentally ill people on the extreme versions, you know, the extreme sides. But I'm just worried. I'm worried because the extreme left is, you know, they keep doing things to incite violence and riots. And sometimes there's some stuff that I can understand, and some of it just, the evidence shows it's just manufactured. It's manufactured from awful people at the top, right? But then you have the right, where yes, you do have extreme factions. And then you also have people who are they're just done with what the left is doing and ready to defend themselves. So it's kind of a mess. It's a mess. But here's what I want to do, guys. I don't want to focus on those things in this video. I just wanted to give you a little overview of where we're at. And here's the good news. Because, you know, I kind of got down when I was like, it's not going to happen until after the election, but the election is just days away, right? However, stimulus takes time, and we are in a lame duck session. And a lot of times in a lame duck session, not a lot gets done. In a lame duck session, I mean like this is the time where it's right before a new president is going to be in office, whether or not that's the president we have or a new one. So a lot of times nothing really gets done in that time frame. And of course, the Senate went on another recess break because it's just too hard to get paid $174,000 a year starting to be in session a handful of days a year. And we are all left to fend for ourselves. My consistent message in all of this will continue to be, kick them all out. Get rid of them. Get rid of everyone. All of them. They disgust me. I'm done. I'm so angry. So here's now a growing trend though, because I've already done a video about this, but we have more good news. It looks like some of the states are starting to pick up where the federal government is leaving off. If you saw the title of this video, I did a video earlier this week where I talked about, which I'll go over again, the state of Maryland, and they are trying to help. They've just basically approved several $100 million to help small businesses who need things like PPP funding. And we have been seeing a growing trend of the states stepping up and helping, because remember, many of the states haven't touched much of their CARES Act money. And I can understand to an extent, because a lot of them are looking at this going, well, we thought we'd have more stimulus money to work with later, and now we don't. So we don't know what we're working with. So we're kind of scared to do anything with it and plan with it, which to me makes, you know, it sucks, but it makes perfect sense. But some of them are starting to actually spend that money because they see people are really, really suffering. And we have some good news. There is a state that is doing stimulus checks for you guys, and they just passed being able to do stimulus checks. So I'm very, very happy about this, because I know how many people have been suffering. You guys have been suffering. I'm suffering, and they're going to be helping at least to a small degree. And I want to encourage you guys, continue to look by your state. Google by your state what types of stimulus are available. I know Florida for a while was giving some stuff out. I believe Missouri was. They were just doing their own forms of stimulus checks. Now, some of this is first come, first serve, and they run out quick. So you want to go in there and get your spot. Some of it's a few $100s, some of it's a couple thousand. But check your state. Check, I would say at least check a couple times a week if you are really struggling and suffering with this stuff. And just look at your state and see if your state is one that's going to be offering any additional forms of stimulus with their CARES Act money or whatever funds that they may have. So I want to go ahead and pull this information up so you can have it and you can know exactly what to do. So this is from the Colorado Sun, coloradosun.com. It says, in lieu of federal action, Colorado will send one-time $375 stimulus payments to 435,000 people. In all, more than 163 million is expected to be distributed by the state. The move comes after Governor Jared Polis issued mandatory unpaid furloughs for most state employees to save $8 million. Interesting. So this comes from, it's 163 million is going to be distributed by the state, and this comes with the governor. The governor issued mandatory unpaid furloughs. Okay, interesting. So they're trying to save money on this situation. So here we go. Colorado will send roughly 435 people a one-time stimulus payment of $375 as a way to help them weather the effects of the virus crisis in lieu of additional federal aid. So it's $375, which is not nearly as much as $1,200 or the $600 a week you could get on unemployment, which then went down to $300 to $400 depending on your state. But it's something. And I think at this point, we're desperate. We'll take anything. In all, more than 163 million is expected to be distributed by the state. And it says it's to roughly 435,000 people. I wonder, let's see, population of Colorado. So if I look up the population of Colorado, like it immediately comes up for at least in 2015 as 5,456,574. And if you guys remember, we are in a census year. So I don't know if that was when a census, is a census every 5 years or 10 years? I forget. But so that could be even more now, especially because we have so many people from California fleeing to Colorado because California is now a cesspool. And I'm sure a lot of those Californians are going to take their leftist ideology and try to change California, or they're going to try to change Colorado and Texas and everywhere they flee into a blue state, even if they see it doesn't work. I don't know why. I don't know why people are doing that. But again, I don't like either side. So don't think I'm saying, oh, go red. I'm just like, they all suck. So, okay. So that's interesting because they're going to send it to 435,000. So that's like less than 10% of their population. And I wonder what they're going to judge that on. So let's go ahead and listen. Washington, D.C. has failed to act to provide additional direct cash support for hardworking Coloradans and to further stimulate the economy. So today, Colorado is boldly doing our part to help our own, Governor Jared Polis said in a written statement. The money will be sent out in early December, according to the governor's office. Polis signed an executive order making the payments possible, as announced the action on Wednesday afternoon, less than a week before the election day. So it looks like he made an executive order. This is signed into law. This is happening. Coloradans eligible for the payments include anyone who received at least $1 in unemployment compensation between March and October and were eligible for a weekly jobless benefit between $25 and $500 during that period. Okay, so it looks like this has to do with people who've been on unemployment. So this is just kind of a little bonus stimulus for people who are unemployed, which makes sense. So this is for unemployment specifically. Interesting. The Colorado Department of Labor and Employment estimates that 65% of all unemployment claimants since March 15th will receive the payments. The aid is only expected to be given to people who are or were earning less than $52,000 a year. The governor's office says the payments will be funded by $148.9 million in unspent Medicaid dollars. $13.8 million from Colorado Disaster Emergency Fund and $5.3 million from the state's controlled maintenance trust fund. Okay, interesting. They're just showing where the money is being moved around from. So a lot of this is just unspent Medicaid money. So much Medicaid money was available in Colorado because of the state overestimated enrollment in the insurance program for low-income people. The state's controlled maintenance trust fund is part of Colorado's emergency funding reserves. Okay, there you go. The move comes after Polis issued mandatory unpaid furloughs for most state employees to save $8 million, and as Democratic lawmakers warn voters against supporting an income tax cut on the 2020 ballot because the state needs the money to fund essential government services. So basically, state employees right now are just on unpaid furloughs in Colorado. That sucks. That absolutely sucks. The situation just needs to end, guys. This needs to end. To pay for the stimulus checks, Polis tapped accounts that are part of the state's reserve, which is well below what is needed to weather the current economic storm. The stimulus plan was developed with aid from Democratic state lawmakers. They were celebrating the news on social media Wednesday afternoon. It's not clear if Polis consulted on the plan with state House Republicans, who are in the minority. They were not included in the stimulus's rollout. The governor did not consult with the Joint Budget Committee when it came to dispersing federal CARES Act funding. He did not seek input from our rural communities when it came to his virus orders, and it seems he had no interest in seeking minority party input this time around. Sage Nauman, spokesman for the Colorado Senate GOP, said, Congress has not passed virus aid legislation since March when it approved the CARES Act. The $2.2 trillion stimulus bill included loans for small businesses, extra unemployment benefits for people who lost their jobs, and help for economically ailing state and local governments. The CARES Act also provided direct stimulus checks to Americans of up to $1,200 for those making less than $99,000 a year, and also provided an extra $600 per week to anybody on unemployment. The pandemic unemployment benefit ended July 25th. Polis's office says the stimulus payment piggyback on the President Trump's LWA, as you guys know, the Lost Wage Assistance Program, which provided some out-of-work Coloradans an extra $300 per week in unemployment benefits. But that ended on September 5th. As I've said, most of that unemployment money has run out. I keep hearing Larry Kudlow saying, the LWA is about to run out. I'm like, boo-boo, it has been long run out. What are you talking about to? So it says, Colorado can and should act now to help the hardworking people who will help lead us out of this challenging time. And that's what we're doing today, the governor said in a written statement. The one-time $375 payment from the Polis administration is slightly more than the Lost Wage Assistance Program bonus paid to those on unemployment. More than 240,000 Coloradans benefited from the LWA program and received about $371.5 million. Okay, so before, they almost doubled that number, right? It was like 435-ish thousand. This is 240. So I guess they're looking at, for this, anybody who's been on unemployment from those dates in March until July. So just keep that in mind. According to the state labor department, people on unemployment do not need to do anything to receive the one-time payment from the state in December. Those eligible will get an email or phone call from the Labor Department. To speed up the distribution process, however, they can make sure their address and select payment method is up to date. Okay, so here's the instructions. You don't have to do anything. Just make sure your info is up to date, like your address. And it says, and the way you want to be paid. More than 750,000 Coloradans have applied for unemployment benefits since March. There are currently 217,974 receiving weekly unemployment benefits. Last month, the state's unemployment rate was 6.4%. Housing advocates celebrated the news on Wednesday. For people who are struggling to pay their rent and put food on the table, cash assistance is essential and incredibly helpful, says Sam Gilman, co-founder of the Virus Eviction Defense Project, which has provided assistance and legal advice to tenants facing eviction in Colorado since March. We need consistent cash assistance, and perhaps only the federal government can provide that. But it's important, and I appreciate seeing the states do what they can at the moment. And I agree, this isn't a ton of money, but we did have some stimulus passed. If you are in Colorado, this can definitely help you. So this makes me very happy. And if you know somebody in Colorado, you were in Colorado, send this video to your Colorado people, especially if they were on unemployment, so they have a chance to be able to get in on this and know what to do. So I'm thinking that part of the instructions to make sure your information is up to date would be going in your unemployment portals, whether or not you got regular unemployment or you got the PUA. And I know some states, they only have one website. My state of Oklahoma, they have two separate websites, one for regular UI, one for the PUA. So yeah, I would just encourage, go look and see, and then go in there and make sure your information is up to date to see if you would qualify for the type of funding or checks that they're doing. It's sad that the states right now, with the limited funds they have to step up and do this, and it's only a one-time payment, but it's something, and it's more than the federal government will do for any of us right now. Another few things I want to note, guys, in your state, your city, your county, your region, your state, 4 things to look up when it comes to looking for stimulus. If you are really needing help, search, stimulus checks by your city, or PPP help by your city, by your state, by your county. You will be surprised. Or, when I say city, and make sure and also do the biggest metropolitan city that's going to be next to you if you were in that metropolitan area, or even if you are outside in the boonies, whatever one is closest to you, you might be eligible for. And you would be surprised the amount of state programs they have to help people right now we just don't know about. There's especially a lot of grants. There's a lot of loan programs for businesses if you have a small business. So continue to keep up to date with that and look at those things, because there may be money just sitting around you don't know about. Or check with your state. Your state may have issued something, or maybe your state has had some emergency funds for people for all different types of things. In fact, several states, they also have, different programs for helping you pay your bills, pay your electric, pay your water, pay your gas. So that's something that you can do to help you get covered during this time. Now, something a lot of us were doing, and I know there's less compassion with it now, but if you were having trouble paying for your bills, if you were in that desperate situation, the first thing I want to tell you is make a list of all your bills and start calling all your bill providers to see if they have any emergency assistance relief. Some places are going to be less kind and compassionate. In the beginning, most cell phone carriers were willing to, push back your payments for a month or two, and that seems to have lessened and lessened. But there are still going to be places that will help you, that have those kind of emergency funds, or will let you defer payments. So continue to see what you can do about deferring payments. And if you get desperate enough, and I have been here more than once in my life, there's no shame in getting on the SNAP program. That's the Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program, what used to be known as food stamps. If you need that for your family, for one person, that can be almost an extra $200. And I know that they're trying to plus that up by about 25% within the next bills they're trying to put out there with stimulus. So that could be $250. And the more people you have in your household, the more that goes up, and that can be a lifeline for some people. So just keep that in mind. There are, people think stimulus is only about the federal government, but stimulus is money that stimulates the economy. And so there can be lots of different forms of stimulus, and I want you guys to be aware of that. Empower yourselves to go and look in your communities if you are really having a hard time, and see what is available to you. Call 411, call different places and see. The other thing that I want to go over, and I covered this last time, but I thought I would cover it again for the people who might not see this one. This is from the Washington Post, and this says, with federal stimulus talks dragging, Maryland governor announces $250 million package for small businesses. That's another thing. If your business is struggling, and I know who isn't at this point? Like, everybody with the business is struggling, even the chains. What was it? I've heard the CEO of, I think, Red Robin came out a couple weeks ago and said the airline industries are having a tough time. But you want to really see a disaster, wait, because the restaurant industry, hospitality, restaurant, we are about to go under. And that's so many jobs, so many essential jobs. And, we all thought that we were going to get some kind of stimulus with the airlines, because surely they're not going to let the airlines falter. And then they have. We keep thinking they're not going to sink lower, and then they do. They just keep topping their BS. So it says Maryland Governor Larry Hogan announced $250 million of state cash Thursday to provide grants and some loans to restaurants, small businesses, closed entertainment venues, and struggling arts organization. If you have a business and you need help, one thing you can do is you can call your call your local SBA office and see what kind of programs are available. Go to the SBA website. I know the SBA is still doing PPP loans and grants. Well, actually, no, I think they're all done. No, they're all done with the PPP, and I think they're also done with the eidl, but call and see if they will guide you into other programs. And I've seen programs even in Oklahoma City when I've done searches for, small business grants or small business loans. They're doing lots of stuff here to help all kinds of people, even just local artists, which I know as local artists, people get crapped on a lot. Like, I used to be an artist. I was a singer for a really long time. Y'all, I actually studied like classical music singing. I went to college to be like an opera singer, and I got there and I was like, there's no money in this and I don't want to sing opera. I love singing, but it used to be just my all-consuming passion. And as I got older, and really it was, I think, getting sick for some reason, it snapped me out of it. And now it's just something I kind of do to myself, if anything, but I also overtalk doing these videos, so I don't have much of a voice to actually use anymore. But I'm just saying, no matter what your business is, there's a niche for it. Also, grants.gov, you'd be surprised how the types of different loans, if you have different types of businesses, like if you are a cannabis business, an all-female business, different types of minority businesses you sell, different types of things. Grants.gov has so many untapped grants and loans for you to get into. So for your business, look into that. So it says, as federal stimulus talks drag in Congress, that's an understatement. Hogan announced he would use about half the state's budget savings from last year to expand existing programs and fund new ones to help small businesses struggling because of the economic downturn caused by the virus pandemic. The sum roughly doubles what the state already has pumped into similar programs. It's a desperate situation, Hogan said. Many businesses, they're hanging on by a thread. They may not make it another month or two. That is an extreme understatement, if they're even around at all at this point. How many businesses have just permanently gone under that will not come back? It's so sad. Requests for help from Maryland's small businesses have far outpaced resources, even with about $10 billion from aid from the Federal Paycheck Protection Program, PPP, going to 81,000 businesses in the state, the governor said. In 2 weeks in late March and early April, nearly 20,000 small businesses applied for aid through the Maryland Small Business Virus Relief Grant Fund, prompting the state to close the application window and start a waiting list that remains. About 4,000 applications were approved before the state ran out of money. Hogan put $45 million more into the program in July. He announced Thursday that a new infusion of $50 million will clear the backlog of businesses that qualified and have been waiting since this. That is so sad. People could have been waiting since March or April for their PPP funds, and they're just getting them maybe when everything's done. It was not clear Thursday whether the state will accept new applications. Okay, so that's for the backlog. The largest share of the new funding announced Thursday, $100 million, will go to what Hogan calls the Emergency Rapid Response Funds for small businesses. He said the money will be set aside until the administration determines how it can be best used. So at the moment, looks like for that $100 million portion of it, there's no instructions on what to do. But if you are in Maryland, you know somebody in Maryland, send them this video, send them this info, and just kind of try to keep up to date with any changes in the programs that Larry Hogan is putting out. If federal aid arrives before the end of the year, the rapid response money might not be used, he said. Comptroller Peter Franchot, a frequent Hogan ally, had been publicly pressuring the governor to spend $500 million on direct aid to small businesses. His spokeswoman, Susan O'Brien, said Friday that spending $150 million in relief for tens of thousands of small businesses in Maryland is not nearly enough, and leaving $100 million for an emergency rapid release fund is empty rhetoric. A new program will provide $50 million in grants for the state's roughly 11,500 restaurants, which amounts on average to $434 per business. Again, it's not much, but it's something. And at this point, I think we'll take anything we can get. The money will not have to be repaid, and it can be used on a variety of expenses, such as expanding outdoor dining, which is a good idea, paying rent, upgrading technology to improve carry-out business, or buying personal protective equipment. Local governments will distribute the money to businesses that qualify and determine how much each will receive. The state initially had expected enormous budget deficits for the fiscal year that ended June 30th because of pandemic-related shutdowns. But the multi-billion-dollar infusion from the first wave of federal help, plus belt-tightening in Maryland's budget, left the state with $500 million more than expected. Another existing program that helps small businesses avoid layoffs will be expanded by between $10 million and $30 million, with the money supplementing employee income and financing telework operations so employees can stay on the jobs. Okay, that's interesting. Smaller initiatives are aimed at keeping hard-hit businesses afloat, including $20 million for local entertainment and Main Street small businesses, $5 million in low-interest loans for disadvantaged entrepreneurs, $3 million to arts organizations and artists, and $2 million to promote hometown tourism by marketing local stores, businesses, and attractions. And I said this before in the last video, I'll say it again. How are you gonna market? How are you gonna do any marketing with hometown tourism if you're telling everybody to stay at home? And we are hearing more and more talks that things are starting to shut down again. They're starting to do 30-day shutdowns, month-long shutdowns over in different European countries. What is gonna happen here? We're hoping these are the right things and that it will be enough, but we really don't know, Hogan said, adding that what the state's economy needs most is a major stimulus package from the federal government. Hello, I think all of us do. Again, understatements. The governor said contact tracing data shows that the top source of the virus infections continue to be small family gatherings and house parties. He said the state is closely watching a slight uptick in hospitalizations over the past 2 weeks, urging people to stick to proven strategies of mask wearing and social distancing. The Greater Washington region on Thursday recorded 2,114 new virus cases and 21 additional deaths. Virginia added 1,332 cases and 9 deaths. Maryland added 743 cases and 12 deaths, and DC added 39 cases and no deaths. Thursday's caseload was the highest in a single day across the region since October 8th, when 2,673 infections were announced, fueled by one-day reporting issues in Virginia. Despite the daily increase, the regional rolling 7-day average of new infections stood at 1,709 cases, holding mostly steady for more than a week. Maryland's daily average has risen through October, standing Thursday at 633 cases, the state's highest since September 17th. The pandemic's economic fallout was evident Thursday when figures from the U.S. Labor Department showed 25,669 new unemployment claims were filed last week in D.C., Maryland, and Virginia. That was slightly up from the 23,369 claims filed a week earlier. So again, this is just some additional information about what you can do in Maryland. So right now we have Maryland that's doing their own types of stimulus with PPP loans and helping businesses. And we have Colorado who are trying to help the people on unemployment. And they are giving you a one-time $375 stimulus payment to 435,000 people. And again, if you're looking for instruction, all you have to do is I would assume, go into your unemployment portals and make sure your information is up to date on where they can send you that check. And I assume as well, if you need to, you can always call Colorado Unemployment. Just be careful. And I'm sure most of you on unemployment has already dealt with this. So I'm, not trying to preach to the choir, but the phone lines are insane anywhere to get a hold of anybody, no matter how many phone operators they have. So I would try to get in as quickly as you can in the morning and just be prepared to wait on hold for an hour or two. One time it was 3.5 hours on hold in Oklahoma. 3.5 hours, which is just insanity. And I'm hoping what we're going to continue to see, like I said, I'm hoping we're going to continue to see this trend with these businesses or with these states, that they're going to start stepping up and helping. Because unfortunately, like I said, it looks like we're not going to get any stimulus packages until after the election. But even then, just because Pelosi, I want my Pelosi lotion, guys. Even if we have, we had Meadows and Mnuchin make a deal with Schumer and Pelosi. Well, at this point, it's really Mnuchin and Pelosi. Even if they did make a deal, which they seem to be at each other's throats at this point, but they still have to sell it to the Senate. And the Senate just doesn't want to do anything for anybody. They are just evil. And the Democrats just want what they want and they don't care. And they're going to get what they want and screw all of us and be total hypocrites and stab us in the back, because that's what the Democrats do. So again, we're having to vote constantly between a blank bag and a turd sandwich. Please infer a feminine hygiene product and a turd sandwich. This is what we constantly have to look at when we're voting left or right, in my opinion. And I'm just so done with it. And I know a lot of you are too. And again, this is exactly why Trump ends up getting elected, because people would rather take their chances with him. And that might seem crazy to y'all, but considering how dark and awful these people are, I'm telling you, the whole thing about certain flight logs, and I don't know, maybe people named Jeff, please infer, I don't want to upset YouTube. Maybe there's a whole lot more to that rabbit hole than what people really understand with the level of evil that really happened with these people. And so we'll take a wild card. And that's how a lot of people, I think, are looking at it, in a similar vein to me, but that's just how I look at it. And again, guys, continue to do searches. Look by your state, your county, your city and the biggest metropolitan city next to you for different business help with stimulus checks, stimulus bill help. Look up these things and you may be able to get some relief to help you right now. And there's no shame in the SNAP program if you have to do that. So make sure, and by the way, the SNAP program, if you have to come across that and you don't know how to do SNAP, with SNAP, it's by state. So you'd have to look up what your state requires of you. And right now, typically the process is all going to be over the phone because of the crazy situation that is happening. Okay, guys, if you like this video, please give me a big thumbs up and like the video, subscribe, hit notifications so you can be notified daily what is coming in the pipeline for you and your stimulus money. Also sound off in the comments, leave as many comments as you can, the more the better. All of it helps grow my channel and I'm so grateful for all of you. And guys, please share this content with as many people as you know who are struggling right now. People on unemployment, waiting for unemployment, waiting for stimulus checks, SBA loan and grant issues, bill issues, and everything in between. I got tons of tools and tons of resources to help you on this channel during this difficult time, and I would love to have the opportunity to do just that for you guys. And guys, the more you like, subscribe, comment, hit notifications, and share the content, the more the channel grows. The more the channel grows, the more things I can do to give back to you guys. Like, as I said before, our $100 gift card giveaway we're doing. It's so simple to be eligible. This is all you have to do. Like our video, subscribe, hit notifications, comment, share the content, boom. That's it. You're entered. You're eligible. That's all you have to do. Do it for every video you see. Make sure and do it for every video because the more you do it, the more chances you have to win as well, guys. The more that you share this content and more specifically, the more you comment, the more chances you have at winning. So please leave as many comments. Some of you leave 10, 20, 30 comments a video. I love it. You can keep it up. And some people will literally just comment as the video is going to respond to things in the video. And it's fun because like I can kind of see where some of you start watching and I know where you're commenting. And the other thing is I'm trying to respond to most people in the comments within the first hour. So you'll probably get a hi from me. If you don't, I'm just overloaded and I'm doing my best. So I can't promise, but there's a very big chance you'll get a hi from me if you actually leave a comment. So I would appreciate it. And as you guys know, it dramatically helps grow this channel. And the more this channel grows, the more that I can do more things for you guys, which is what I would love to do. I always say, oh, also before I sign off, Katie's Insight, like the page, join the group Katie's Corner, come in there, ask all the stimulus stuff you want and share info. If there's stories that you're seeing that I'm not putting out that you think I should, put them up and I'll see them. And if it's good, I can put it up and I can help share that information. And guys, I'm just gonna say it again. Every time I end one of these videos, I walk away feeling so blessed and so humbled that this is my job and this is the thing that you guys have allowed me to do. I am so grateful. I'm so blessed. And I feel like you guys have given me this amazing opportunity to come into your lives, your homes, your hearts, and be able to give you this information to help you. And you guys have seen me through a crazy situation recently. And I cannot thank you all from the top, bottom, and whole of my heart. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful to every single one of you watching. Okay, guys, I'm going to end this video here now, but I'll keep giving you updates on where we can get money because, oh my God, we need it. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching. Take care, blessings until next time. Lots of hugs, lots of kisses, mwah, and I'll see you soon. Bye.